I mean, it definitely started off as just kind of like a gentle satire. Maybe didn't feel so gentle to some people. From there, because I started seeing more of this content, it just kind of became something that I dove deeper into, like learning a little bit more about like Montessori and the fact that it started as something to educate poor children. And now it has been co-opted by a lot of the wealthy people in our society. The Montessori school near me is college tuition, basically. And kind of also seeing a lot of the beige outfits and beige toys are these like very homespun, farmhousey sort of things. And so like I can critique the thing, but it doesn't mean I'm critiquing Montessori or wooden toys. I'm really critiquing the way that those things have been kind of co-opted.
Because it's hard to be a person with a body these days when bonkers TikTok diets are all the rage. And why are the seats so damn small on the airplane? Because it's hard to be a person with a body these days.
You are listening to Burnt Toast. I'm Virginia Soul-Smith. Today my conversation is with Hayley DeRoche. Hayley is a humorist and poet and creator of the viral Sad Beige TikTok series. Her work has been covered by the BBC, Washington Post, New York Times, and more. She lives with her family near Richmond, Virginia, where she is also a public librarian. Hayley joined me to chat about her new book, Dress Your Baby in Sage and Taupe, the origin story of Sad Beige, perfectionism, performative parenting, and the beauty and power of mom groups. And of course, we get into so much more. And after our interview, paid subscribers can stick around for Indulgence Gospel, where Corinne and I will be chatting a little more about performative parenting and getting into celebrity mom Jenny Mullen's recent controversial boy mom essay. If you are not a paid subscriber, you don't want to miss it, and it's just $5 to join us. Click the link in your episode description or go to burnttoastpodcast.com. Now here's Hayley. Hi, Hayley. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's a delight. So we are here to talk about your debut book, Dress Your Baby in Sage and Taupe, which is out now. It is such a funny book. I was just reading it at lunch and like LOLing, as the kids say. It's really, really so smart and clever.
Thank you.
You write about this a bit in the introduction, but for anyone who hasn't read the book yet, why don't you tell us your Sad Beige origin story?
So I was shopping for a baby shower and I came across these like stacking rings and stacking cups, like that babies use in like the bath, and they're just kind of fun. And usually they come in like this bright, happy rainbow color assortment. But the ones that I came across were these like shades of beige, and they were just like the saddest thing I'd ever seen. And so that was my first thought of just like, this is sad. And then I looked at the marketing images, and then I think the intention of these images that were with these toys was that the children were wise beyond their years. They were sagely because they had played with these obviously superior toys. The way it translated on screen was just kind of sad because they were just staring at them like, a toy, pondering. And so that was like the second part that made me laugh. And then from there, the first thing that popped into my mind was like, well, if I were in charge of a sad children's brand, like who would I want to be the spokesperson? Who would be the worst possible person for this job? And like, of course, as everyone would guess, famous nihilist German filmmaker Werner Herzog immediately popped to mind.
Yeah,
as it does, right, for everyone, of course.
Yeah.
And I just made this like off joke at my work computer during my lunch break, and it kind of changed my life.
So it wasn't like a coherent brand strategy at the beginning. It was...
No, that all took about 10 minutes.
Right. I love it. But I think you really tapped into something. My older daughter is 12, so I had her in 2013. So it was like really a cusp of beige. And I remember when my next kid was born, it was like even more intense. I was like, what if I don't want her to wear mustard and beige? Like, what are my options?
No clothes for you.
Yeah. You're done. It's obviously super resonated. You have over 500,000 followers per platform on TikTok and Instagram.
It's wild.
That is so many people. I mean, you touched on this a little bit, but like, were you already creating videos before you went viral for Sad Beige, or was this kind of a build the plane while you're flying it? And also, how is it feeling to be this visible? I always like to check in with folks about that. Because it's not something, most of us are prepped for.
Yes. It's kind of a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B with the first part of your question. I was, prior to this, already active on TikTok and had been for about a year and a half or so, I think, at that point. This was kind of right after the pandemic began. And I was doing primarily foster parenting content, not as like, here's my life as a foster parent influencer or anything like that, but just doing very broad educational stuff about like, here's information about like why ICWA is important and just like different books that you can read and like what is a CASA and like what's the importance of reunification being the goal of foster care, not like adoption and things like that. My own story was that at that same point, my son who was in our care, his case moved from foster care after several years to adoption. And at that point, I was like, I really don't think I can keep doing this content about foster care because at that point, I'm no longer kind of in that world.
Sure.
And I also did not want to pivot to adoption because I think you can be really broad when talking about foster care because there are laws and like there's always kind of new things happening in that sphere that's important for people to understand. But with adoption, it's very personal. And I did not want to make that my content because I have very clear boundaries between like what I share about my personal family and what I share online. So I kind of made the intentional decision to pivot away from that content at that point. And this joke kind of provided that opportunity that I was looking for to be like, okay, well, I'm going to grab this one and just go with this one because this is the one that resonated. And from there, it was just kind of building the plane. Your second question about visibility, I would say it's delightfully unnerving is kind of where I'm at.
Great way to put it.
Because I have a very unique kind of face that is very also a part of my brand because a lot of what I do is also poetry where it directly involves me kind of making weird faces because it's a weird type of poetry. And so combine that with my giant like monocle glasses and I do stand out. And so a lot of times because I work with the public, very public facing job as a public librarian, it typically happens about 2 to 3 times a week where people come up and they just kind of stare at me. Like they're trying to figure out, where do I know this person? And I don't know them. So I pretty much know what's happening at that point. And sometimes they'll ask and I'll be like, are you on the internet? And that usually clicks for them. But I mean, it happens at other places too, like the grocery store. I was having a panic attack in a bagel shop one time and somebody recognized me like mid. And I was just like, hey,
I just need to breathe.
Doing
over
so
here.
great. Love a fan.
My weirdest one was a TSA agent, which I thought was so delightful.
Really?
But also I was in the middle of like, airport mode, which is like such a high stress. And like she was checking my license and was like, are you on Substack? This is when we were on Substack. And I was like, yes, is that a problem? Like I'm like thinking I'm getting flagged. And then we had a lovely conversation. She was delightful. But yeah, it can really catch you off guard in those moments.
It really has solidified for me my decision to not make my children content because they are 9 and 11 now. And people recognize me, but they don't recognize them. And I'm like, yay, because that would be way weirder for them than it is for me. Yeah,
so weird. And like, there's something unsettling to me about people knowing your kids. Like if they're like on a school field trip or like somewhere where you're not with them and they get recognized, that feels like that would be, I want to be there to manage the situation.
Yes. And like, this is my choice, but it's not theirs. They're kind of at the mercy of parents, like all children are. And so I don't feel that they can really consent to that because, you can say yes, but do you really have a full knowledge of like what the breadth of the internet entails and like what can be done? And I do, but they don't.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's interesting because obviously a lot of your work is parodying a lot of mom influencer content in the Sage and Beige space. And so many of those momfluencers are using their kids in content because it feels like a necessary like part of their job description, right? Like you have to have the adorable toddler gazing wistfully at the, beige building blocks or whatever.
It just doesn't work without them, unfortunately.
Right. But it is something I think a lot about with that content. I think there's like a certain point where it's like when it's a baby and a lot of babies all kind of look alike, but as your kid gets older, like how do you navigate that?
Yeah.
So tricky.
Yeah. It is
Yeah.
hard. And everything is so complex.
Yes. And I mean, most of us who got on the internet when we didn't have any idea that it would be, it's like none of us had informed consent in a way.
No. I mean, I've been on the internet as like an active social user since like the Netscape Navigator Lord of the Rings message boards in like
Wow.
2001.
Wow. That really brought me. I was not on that
yeah.
message board, but just the Netscape message boards. Yeah.
Right. So it's like my experience is it's just been a while. I've been on the internet a lot.
Totally. Well, I mean, you do such a good job of satirizing what I would call performative parenting. I'm curious because it started as this joke. Were you interested in doing a kind of larger social critique? And if so, how do you feel about it now that you've been in that lane for a while?
Right. I mean, it definitely started off as just kind of like a gentle satire. Maybe didn't feel so gentle to some people. From there, because I started seeing more of this content, it just kind of became something that I dove deeper into, like learning a little bit more about like Montessori and the fact that it started as something to educate poor children. And now it has been, co-opted by a lot of the wealthy people in our society. The Montessori school near me is college tuition, basically. And of course, like there are some places that have free Montessori as just like their standard preschool, and that's incredible. But it's, for me, been very rare to see that in the US, where it's just become kind of this elite, status-driven decision that you make. And it just seems like the antithesis of what the intention was. So like things like that, and kind of also seeing a lot of the beige outfits and beige toys are these like very homespun, farmhousey sort of things where it's like the commodification of like simplicity. And I just don't think that those things should be like status symbols. It seems like if it's truly simple, then that should just be a pragmatic choice. And I don't see the reason for it being like an aesthetic, I guess. So when something's like aestheticized,
it kind of interesting.
It's like it becomes its own thing. And so like I can critique the thing, but it doesn't mean I'm critiquing Montessori or wooden toys. I'm really critiquing the way that those things have been kind of co-opted.
Yeah, the narrative about them. I mean, there is absolutely this element of cosplay. This is why people are endlessly fascinated with Ballerina Farm, like
oh boy.
Like living this homespun lifestyle. We took the plaster off the walls of our house, but we have airplane money. Like
that's stove. That's stove.
Oh, the stove. Isn't it like a $60,000 stove or something?
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh my God. It's wild. I think most of us who, I will own having fallen for some of the beige mama stuff in my early years, for sure.
I mean, I sent my children to nature preschool. Like, one of their teachers was named Acorn. Like, I come to this with love.
I'm sure Acorn's an amazing teacher. And it's also, I think, hard to be like a remotely privileged white mom in particular and not get swept up in this because it's like it's the water you're swimming in, right? It's like, this is what all your friends are doing. This is what the mom groups are talking about. Like, this is what the algorithm's feeding you endlessly. And parenting is such an overwhelming experience. And this offers some roadmap.
I would say,
even if,
like the thing I kind of come back to a lot is this idea of feeling powerful in a powerless situation, because I think for a lot of people, especially new parenthood, you feel very powerless. All of like the things that you've done in your life, in your adult life at least, you've had like some control, and like you've been able to set expectations, or like if you're uncomfortable, you get to stop doing something. But parenthood kind of rips that away for a certain amount of time. And I think like choosing an aesthetic and being like, well, this is how I'm going to present, and this is how I'm going to, plan my nursery. I think that can give you some control. And I don't ever want to like make fun of that, because I think, people are seeking that. And I think that makes sense, but it is still funny.
No, it is. And I mean, obviously what we do here on Burnt Toast is tear apart diet culture. And I think there's a big, like beige parenting as a diet. Dieting is all about seeking control and trying to like feel safe in a sea of uncertainty. And I think it's a very similar thing where you're really buying in. And it's not just the toys, it's the, I'm going to make all my own baby food, the like, the firm stances on like, this is the only way to sleep train. This is the worst way to, like, everything else is child abuse. Like, all of those kinds of like super firm stances is people just being like, will this work? Will we survive this time?
Yeah. Taking a stance, deciding I'm doing it the right way.
Yeah.
They're all such ways of regaining lost control.
Yeah.
Personally, I've definitely bought one of those like baby bullet like food makers off of someone from Facebook Marketplace, as one does.
Yeah.
Did I ever use it? No. Never. Not once.
Yeah. That's right.
The best intentions.
Yeah. It was a good thought. It was a nice thought.
It was a great thought. A+
Turns
thought.
out pouches are also very helpful. Like, just they're there and you can hand them straight to the baby. Yeah.
Yes.
Totally.
Fantastic.
I've always appreciated that. I think your content very clearly is in the space of I'm critiquing the cultural narrative around this. I'm critiquing brands that sell this. I'm not critiquing individuals.
No, that was a choice because so many people were sending me like this person's content and this person's content. And I'm like, first of all, I'm going to get destroyed.
Yeah.
Second of all, like using marketing images as parody and satire is very legal. You can legally do that for satire and parody. I did get the permission of the brands that I use the most often.
Smart.
Like I have their blessing.
That's funny.
But
They're like,
the
it's
images,
marketing.
Yes, the images that I use are marketing images that are real. And so I don't ever feel like we've like overstepped because these images are already out there. And, you know, these kids are models. This is not their real life. And we don't know their names or anything about them. So I feel pretty comfortable with that.
Yes, I agree with that. I think you handle it with a lot of ethics and nuance. Of course, anyone who is making content in the motherhood space, I'm sure you have had folks saying, oh, you know, you're being mean to moms, you're tearing women down. This is something, you know, a critique I regularly have to deal with as well. And yeah, I'm curious how you handle it and, you know, why you think folks do kind of get to such a defensive place.
Parenting is so personal.
Yeah.
And especially in new motherhood, for me at least, I was very sensitive. I can only assume that other people are also human and sensitive. And so I have also stopped kind of responding to those because I also feel like art doesn't always have to be explained. And if people don't like it, they don't have to watch it. No. They can block me.
It is free to unfollow.
It is truly not personal to them.
Yeah.
People are kind of in charge of their own algorithm and their own watching experience. I have empathy, but also I am going to joke because I'm a jester.
Yeah, I think that's right. And yeah, like I said, I think your boundaries are so clear and ethical that you can really like stand firm in that. And if people are getting upset, they're allowed to have their take on it, but that doesn't need to inform your work. Yeah.
Exactly. I get tagged in so much, just like sad beige comment on this. And when I do, I try to be playfully on the side of the person they're trying to get me to attack at this point. Like, oh, those are some beige shades. How about you pick this one, but then go with like the purple trim or something, like something that doesn't further make fun of them. If that makes sense. I've kind of started doing that because otherwise I'm just not going to comment at all because I try not to get involved with individuals unless it's, you know, vaguely positive.
I think that's very smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfectionism is another big theme of the sad beige aesthetic. And folks who are getting upset because women especially are so judged for the parenting choices we make. Like you can't get it right. There's always going to be someone telling you you did it wrong. Yeah. And that feels like a part of the defensiveness as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the whole milieu of motherhood online is just very difficult to navigate. No matter what you do, like you share an opinion and someone will think that you are evil.
It's fun out there.
So fun.
I love it.
Just a jolly time.
I love it. It's great to talk about parenting on the internet. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about what is more, well, it can be online or offline, I guess, but the power of mom groups. This is something you talk about in the book. Mom groups are very made fun of, right? Like the moms with the strollers or the, you know, like, oh, it's your mommy group. And, you know, husbands in particular can be sort of condescending about the role these groups play. But
Yes.
In my experience, like your mom group chat, your group of mom friends, I mean, those women will commit murder for you. They will,
absolutely.
they will show up for you at a moment's notice, like,
Yes.
pick up your kid. Like they are there for you in such
Yeah.
a essential way. So
Yeah.
yeah. Do you have your own mom group and how did you find
Yes.
it? Tell us about your mom group.
So my mom group is the Coven. We call ourselves the Coven.
Love it.
We were just kind of a lot of different bloggers who met up through like various wedding blogs and stuff like that back in like the 2010s.
Mm-hmm.
And we've just kind of been this group. We now use Slack. We used to be on Facebook, got rid of that.
Yeah.
But we have been together for about like 11 or 12 years, I think, at this point. And it is so lovely to just have a group of people. Like, we're not all in the same geographic space, but it's so lovely to just have a group of people that you have learned to trust over time. And you've had the big fights, you've had the rifts, you've had all of that. And at this point, this far into it, like, we love each other, truly.
Yeah.
In the book, we kind of follow that same pattern with the mom groups. So in the same way that the book follows you from newborn to big kid, and you kind of see this joyful transformation at the end from like beige to rainbow and all of these messy toys, but you're also learning who your kid is as like wholly themselves. There's also a subtler story going on where in the beginning of the book, the dedication is like, this is a love letter to moms. Well, some of you anyway. It's a little snarky. But by the end of the book, in the middle, you kind of see this character, the unnamed character, your narrator, as like standing on a porch, seeing these other moms like stroller striding and stuff like that. And like, it's friendly. I want to wave to them and then I go back to bed. Then you have like some quizzes of like, do you need a mom group or a coven? And then you get into the mom group kind of integrating with everything. You have like the group chats and you kind of see this group relationship evolve until at the very end, you have this final group chat where it's just like, they're barely talking about the kids at all. They're really talking about how much they love each other and like what their life is going to be like after kids and like what they're going to do together.
Mm-hmm.
It's this relationship that you have the opportunity to grasp when you become a parent. Is that friendship opportunity with other parents. Like if you dare to open up and take it. And like there's so much misogyny around the idea of mom groups, like you were saying.
Yeah.
And I think part of that comes from like people mocking the big Facebook groups and stuff like that with like dumb questions and, infighting and all of that.
Yeah.
But when you go a lot smaller, when you just get together with people who are kind of your people and it's, 20 people, 30 people, you have that opportunity to just have a real relationship with people. And you learn so much from each other and like you can just be there for each other. And it's really beautiful. Like it's truly been just like this joy of my life that I never would have had access to. Like I have other friendships, but these ones are just really special to me.
Yeah.
And
completely agree.
Right. And like, it's just something that just is not seen. You watch like the, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and all of these relationships are catty or filled with drama. And like, that doesn't have to be what your mom group is.
Absolutely not. And
no.
The pushback about those like really big Facebook groups that get toxic, I'm just like, has anyone been on a Reddit thread? Like men are just as toxic on the men, I would argue.
Yes.
As someone who hears from a lot of negative men on the internet, they're being way worse than women are. And
I would agree.
Yeah. So it's sort of wild to me that it gets so like dismissed and eye-rolled when it's like there is real power in these connections and these connections among women. These are, this is how children are being raised. This is how women are getting out of bad marriages. Like so many important things, navigating health issues with their kids or their spouse or what life is happening.
Everything comes up.
Yeah.
Right. Like everything comes up and you get so many perspectives and you get advice that you need that you won't hear from other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really great. And like, I hope that when people read the book that they also come away with that feeling of like, this is a transformative experience.
Agreed. I also want to make sure we talk a little bit about food in the book. Again, this is a burnt toast specialty. I've written about Instagram bento box culture. You have a great
I love
piece.
Fat Talk. I read it at the beach. I was like, this is my fun beach read.
I'm glad I could offer that.
That's great.
But yeah, I mean, you write a lot in the book about the pressures on parents around feeding, which are insane. And one sentence I loved was, they are out here, those parents, forging new trails in the world of green pepper slicing, curating mini art gallery shows before morning drop-off. And so, again, we are up against perfectionism and performative parenting standards, which around food are just like off the charts intense. Why do you think parents are letting what should be like a pretty mundane task of parenting, like you got to pack lunch for the day, why is that becoming so high stakes and this performance art project?
I've thought about this a lot, and I think it kind of comes down to unseen labor. Like making the lunches is it's a boring task. It's mundane. It's unseen. But if you transform it into something that's like beautiful and makes you look like a good parent, like you get your labor seen, you get it appreciated, you get that like boost of feeling like a good parent that like you are. But it's nice to like hear that from other people.
Yes.
And like all of these things together, like you get your labor seen and like you get appreciated. There's no immediate like drawback to it. So I can definitely see why it's become so popular because like otherwise, yeah, you're making a lunch and like, is your kid even going to eat it?
No.
I don't know, but at least the people who saw the picture appreciated it.
And you got that recognition and that validation that you're doing a good job, which kids do not hand out gold stars very often.
No. And like that lunch may come back to you with like 2 blueberries eaten.
Yep. Or just like parts of it crumbled up and kind of picked apart, but not actually like...
Not eaten. Yeah. So it's just like, it's a way to kind of get some feedback that you otherwise might not be getting at all.
Yes. If it's working for people and it's not creating a ton of extra labor, I think that's the fine line is like, it can so easily be the slippery slope into now you're putting even more labor into the thankless task. Your children's even less likely to eat it. Who did that help,
Right. But then if it becomes a job, then it becomes a different kind of work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we are chatting to you from your day job as a public librarian. In addition to all of your great Sad Beige content, you post a lot of information about libraries and how to utilize them, which I adore. And it's a hard time for librarians in general. So how's it going, Hayley?
I mean, let's see. First of all, I think anybody who's interested in like becoming a librarian, I see that question a lot, is kind of what is it like? And the job has really become enmeshed in social work that we are not trained to be. We do not have like social work degrees. We have master's in library science degrees. If we're that level of a librarian, other library workers may have other degrees. And it is very difficult to be in this position when the social safety net that should exist is just, it's a giant hole at this point. It just doesn't exist. So you wind up trying to help a lot of people who need a social worker but don't have one, or they don't see them often enough. They need resources, or they just need a place to be during the day. And so a lot of it is really trying to like manage the fact that the library is for everyone, but the library also needs to be useful for everyone.
Right.
So particularly when you have a very small library branch like the one I manage, a lot of it is just kind of making sure that everyone who comes in can get what they need, whether it's a quiet place to work or bringing their kids or anything like that. So a lot of it is just making sure that the behavior guidelines are being followed. And if someone is following the rules, which are pretty easy to follow, then they are welcome to be here. But it is very challenging a lot of the time because you're working with people who really do need more help, and it's just not within the library's power to do it.
Right.
We can't refer people. We're not that type of professional. So we can give them, resources that we've printed out, but we can't follow up individually with people. It's just not within our realm of work that we can do.
Sure.
So that's definitely one challenging aspect. Every day is different. Yesterday I had someone who was like very pleasant, if a little zooted, come in, and in the course of conversation they were asking for some books, but they also asked, how many people have you punched? I was like, no.
I mean, now I need to know how many
do you
people
want next? What I should have answered was like, well, 6 today.
Yeah. Usually try to go for 5 before lunch.
At least, right? I'm really falling down on the job. So you just never know. You truly never know what your next interaction is going to be.
Yeah.
And like sometimes it's just funny and other times it's heartbreaking. And sometimes it's just like, wow, I helped somebody today.
Yeah.
But just seeing all of these like Moms for Liberty groups try and remove books from libraries is so disheartening. And it's distressing because the library is for everyone. And that means that you have books for everyone. And does it mean that every book is for everyone?
No.
Of course not.
No.
Like every book its reader is one of like the core tenets of librarianship, that just because you wouldn't read it doesn't mean someone else wouldn't. And books that I disagree with are all over the place in the library because, one, I'm not the person picking them, but two, they are specifically chosen to offer a wide range.
Right.
And it's so disappointing to see people want to just only have like one view in a public resource that belongs to everybody.
Yeah.
So that's just like a big challenge nationwide, really, for librarians.
So frustrating.
It is.
So everyone support your libraries, use your libraries, and behave and follow the rules when you're in the library.
Please. We love you. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
All right, Hayley. Well, we wrap up our podcast with our butter segment, which is, where we give recommendations. So would love to know what butter you have for us.
So I'm a big like re-listener, re-watcher. And so right now I am re-listening for, I think, like the fourth time, the entire Babysitters Club podcast.
Oh, that sounds delightful.
It's so funny. It is the only podcast to date that every single episode I just like burst out laughing alone in my car.
Yep.
I am not a like big laugher if I'm by myself because I like sharing the laugh. That is like 80% of the fun to me is sharing the laughs.
Yeah.
But this one gets me every single time. And if people aren't familiar with it, it's two dudes, one of whom read the series when they were like 13 at like their cousin's house.
Amazing.
And the other one has not, but is a trooper. And just like fully in. And
oh my God, I need to listen to this.
I
love
funny.
the idea of 13-year-old boys discovering the Babysitters Club. Oh my gosh.
And like now they're adults now.
Right. But what a great formative experience for him.
Truly, truly. They have that same formative experience that like a lot of women who grew up with the series have. And so like that love for the series is there and like the respect for it. So they're never making fun of it. But as the podcast goes on, it just becomes like a series of bits. so like good. They've decided that like all of the girls are actually bees and like everything is about bread. So it's bread theory and bee theory. And like, it's like a conspiracy theory where once you hold on to something, then you can just find it anywhere.
Yeah.
And so it just becomes very insider baseball.
Yes.
And it's just hysterical. And it's like my comfort listen. So I highly recommend you find it. I think it's actually, if you search for Babysitters Club, it's Strange Bedfellows now because they ran out of Babysitters Club books.
Oh, amazing. Okay.
And like they went through the mysteries, which they really didn't want to do, and the super
mysteries
specials.
Are great. I think. Sorry.
Well,
maybe they don't hold up. I haven't read them since I was 9.
They even went into the California Diaries.
So that is the deep cut.
Yes. So now it's called Strange Bedfellows. But if you go back in the feed, they're all there.
You can get all the Babysitters Club. All right, I'm definitely going to check that out.
So that's my big butter.
Well, my butter, I was laughing because I was like, it's simultaneously one of those things that internet moms tell you should do. And also it's like when you do it, you're like, oh, I have so many regrets, which is we're making a lot of slime right now at my house.
Oh, no.
I know. But it's like, this is like a little bit of an onion.
Ban slime.
We have to peel off.
Outlaw.
I respect anyone who's outlawed slime. I outlawed slime for years in my house. I would not allow it because I am a little bit perfectionist about my house, and it's hard for me to have children in it, period, some days. Like, there's just so many socks. They leave everywhere, and it gives me so much rage.
Socks.
The socks, yeah. So I was like, it's too messy, it's too messy, it's too messy.
Mm-hmm.
But my middle schooler was like, I can do it. I can handle slime. You need to let me do this. And I was like, okay, fine. And, we're at a stage where it can be hard to get my kids to do things that are not on a screen. And I'm not shaming screen time at all. It's very important.
It's just reality.
But this is like one activity that they will reliably do, like sometimes multiple times a weekend, sometimes for multiple hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
well,
I got to let it happen.
You got by Big Slime.
I got by Big Slime, yeah. And I'm here to say it is much messier than any Instagram tutorial will tell you it is.
Oh, 100%.
You will have it on your couch and in your children's hair. I did spend an hour combing it out of my 8-year-old's hair one night, and that was a journey for both of us. But I will say, wait until you have like upper elementary school and middle school kids, because if I had done this when they were like 5 and whatever, like hell. Absolute hell. But they are able to like mostly contain it. We've designated like one table as the slime station. The slime ingredients live there. You are not allowed to leave that table with sticky hands.
My God.
I have like a whole list of rules up on the wall because the friends come over and want to do slime too. And I'm like, okay, you can do it.
We got to workshop this though. So it could be slime rules and that's kind of boring.
Yeah.
But if you call it slime laws, that's not great. But what if you called them slaws?
Slaws.
Like the slime laws. I'm so sorry.
No, I'm here for it. I'm going to rewrite the list. It's slaws.
Yeah, slaws.
Well, the number one slaw is if your hands are sticky, you stay there until they're not sticky anymore. Because that's what slime will eventually reach a texture where it gets the stickiness off you. Mm-hmm. But if you give up too soon, that's where the mess comes from.
Yeah.
You have to stay and like see it out.
It's Dante's Inferno from there.
Yeah. It's so bad.
Slime Inferno.
It's so bad. But it's bringing a lot of joy in my house, and it is making me happy to see like 12 and 13-year-olds like playing again, you know? Like that's like nice. So
it is nice.
If you have middle schoolers and you previously had a no slime policy, consider some slaws to help you bring slime into your life. Or don't, and I respect that completely. Awesome. Hayley, thank you so much for being here. Of course, everyone needs to go get your book, Dress Your Baby in Sage and Taupe.
Makes a great gift for your favorite mom besties.
Absolutely. Everyone in the mom chat needs it. Where else can we find you? How can we support your work?
I am on Instagram as @officialsadbeige because somebody took the other one. And I'm on TikTok as @sadbeige. And my website is HayleyDeRoche.com. And you can probably Google how to spell it in case you get it wrong. But yeah, if you go to my Instagram, there's a link there. You can find all of my stuff there. I'm so excited for everybody to read this because it meant so much to me. And I'm so happy to be able to share it with everybody.
Love it. Thank you, Hayley, for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a joy.
Up next is Indulgence Gospel, our bonus segment for paid subscribers, where Corinne and I are going to debrief on this interview, talk a little more about performative parenting, and get into celebrity mom Jenny Mullen's recent controversial boy mom essay. Paid subscriptions start at just $5 a month and get you behind all our paywalls, plus you get commenting privileges. So go to burnttoastpodcast.com to join us. Thanks so much for listening to Burnt Toast. If you enjoyed this conversation, please support our work with a paid subscription. They start at just $5 a month, and you'll keep Burnt Toast in ad and sponsor-free space. Learn more at burnttoastpodcast.com. Another great way to support Burnt Toast is to make sure you are following us for free in your podcast player. Can you take 2 seconds and follow us right now on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen? If you need help adding Burnt Toast to your podcast player, check the episode description. We've got a link with all the info for you. And okay, I know I just asked you to do something, but if you have 2 more seconds, please leave us a rating or review. Just scroll down wherever you're listening right now and tap the stars, all 5 of them please, and leave us a little note about why you love Burnt Toast. Both of these things really help new listeners find conversations like these. The Burnt Toast podcast is hosted by me, Virginia Soul-Smith, and Corinne Fay. Follow me on Instagram and Threads at @V_Soul-Smith. Follow Corinne on Instagram at SelfieFay and on Patreon at Big Undies. This podcast is produced by Kim Baldwin. You can follow Kim at The Blonde Mule on all platforms and subscribe to her newsletter at theblondemule.com. The Burnt Toast logo is by Deanna Lowe. Our theme music is by Faraday. Our video editor is Elizabeth Ayiku, who also runs the Me Little Me Foundation, a virtual food pantry supporting multiply marginalized folks recovering from eating disorders. Learn more and donate at melittlemefoundation.org. And Tommy Heron is our audio engineer. Thanks for listening and supporting anti-diet, body liberation journalism.